The Black community has long suffered under the weight of systemic racism and discrimination. As white people, it is our responsibility to use our privilege to support and uplift the Black community. Here are a few ways that we can be better allies. Listen and learn. We need to listen to Black voices and experiences without interrupting or dismissing them. We should educate ourselves on the history of systemic racism and the ways that it continues to impact the Black community today. We should seek out resources, books, and documentaries that help us understand the issues. Next, speak up. We should use our privilege to speak up against racism and discrimination. We should challenge racist comments and behaviors, even if it's uncomfortable. Silence that which perpetuates racism. We should support Black-owned businesses in our communities. We should advocate for policies that support economic justice and equity. Donate to Black-led organizations. Financially support Black-led organizations that are working to address systemic racism and inequality. It can be done through regular contributions or contributing to certain campaigns and initiatives. We should also use our platforms for good as white people. We have access to platforms and audiences that the Black community may not have. We should use our platforms to amplify Black voices and perspectives, raise awareness about issues affecting the Black community, and promote positive change. Be open to feedback and learning from our mistakes, as we will make mistakes along the way. But it's important to acknowledge them, apologize, and learn from them. We should be open to feedback and willing to change our behavior and perspectives as we continue to learn and grow. Being a better ally to the Black community requires a willingness to listen, learn, and take action. It requires us to use our privilege for good, support Black-owned businesses and communities, and speak up against racism and discrimination. It's up to all of us to work towards a more just and equitable society. And being a better ally is an important step. If you like the content and benefit from it, give me a follow.
Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode. I hope you all are doing fine and great wherever you are watching this video from. I'm back with yet another episode. Some of the palm-colored people right now are waking up and admitting some shocking revelation and truth to the rest of the world. Some of them are so tired of their own people. They are having that white fatigue. Some of them are now seeing the suffering the Black people have been enduring for years, and they are telling their own community that without action, there is no day the Black folks will consider us as true allies. So guys, without wasting time, let's dive in straight to the video, and kindly give the video a thumbs up. I will honestly appreciate it. I'm your presenter, Judy.
Can you imagine living in a United States where racism no longer exists? Can you imagine racism being something that we look at in a museum like an ancient artifact or only read about in history books, instead of being something that we see happening every single day? I know it might seem crazy to think about right now, but almost 20 years ago, many people thought that that day had arrived. When Obama was elected president in 2008, many people said that America had finally entered a post-racial age. They argued that now that the US had elected a Black president, race didn't matter as much as it used to, and racism was about to be defeated once and for all. However, these optimistic predictions didn't last long. As soon as Obama took the oath of office, hate crimes started to rise, and there was an explosion of far-right hate groups. Before Obama's victory, there was only a handful of right-wing militias, but afterwards that number went from dozens to hundreds. I saw this rise of hate groups firsthand. It was only a few days after Obama was elected when every family on my street got a strange letter in their mailbox. The letter was from a needy hate group called the National Socialist Movement, and it said, "Missing, a legitimate president in America." The letter echoed Trump's birther conspiracy, saying that Obama had yet to produce a valid birth certificate, and asked how did he even get on the ballot. The letter went on to say, decades of Marxist indoctrination have taken its toll on white America. White children have been taught to feel guilty about who and what they are. That only whites are racist and must be more progressive in their thinking. That multiculturalism and diversity are good for them and the only way to atone for the sins of their ancestors. Now, you know what's really scary? The language used by this neo-hate group in 2009 is the exact same language that Trump and his government officials use today. Just last month, Trump's White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller said, President Trump has fought the cancerous communist woke culture that was destroying this country. As we close the Department of Education and provide funding to states, we're going to make sure these funds are not being used to promote communist ideology. Miller said that the Trump administration is fighting to get critical race theory out of our school districts, which teaches children to hate themselves and to hate their country. He said that from now on, children will be taught to love America. Children will be taught to be patriots. By comparing the language of that hate group in 2009 and the Trump administration today, it's clear who and what really won the presidency in 2016 and 2024: racism. In fact, if we return to this letter from that hate group in 2009, we'll see that everything they were saying then is what Trump and his officials are saying now. This letter promoted straight-up lies, such as, illegals parade through our streets demanding amnesty. They murder 12 U.S. citizens a day. The letter also said, a white woman is assaulted by a black man every 9 minutes. That should sound familiar. That is exactly the same kind of rhetoric that Trump and other government officials have used for years to drum up fear against immigrants and people of color. Even though we know that all of this racist rhetoric is built on lies. That letter from 2009 ended with a familiar phrase too, America for Americans first. The fact that the same language that Nazis used in 2009 is being used by Trump and his government today proves that Obama's election did not usher in some beautiful and utopian post-racial age. Instead, what happened was a racist backlash that gave rise to Trump and is taking the country back to its darkest days of white supremacy. In fact, I would argue that right now, the United States is seeing a terrifying rise in racism. Everywhere you look, racism is becoming more acceptable and more open. I think that what we're witnessing is nothing less than the breakdown of what Michelle Alexander called our colorblind society. In 2010, Alexander published her famous book, The New Jim Crow: Mass Incarceration in the Age of Color Blindness. She argued that, in the era of color blindness, it is no longer socially permissible to use race explicitly as a justification for discrimination, exclusion, and social contempt. She believed that, rather than rely on race, we use our criminal justice system to label people of color criminals and then engage in all of the practices we supposedly left behind. In her book, Alexander argued that by the 1980s, the impact of the civil rights movement had created a colorblind consensus, where most Americans professed to no longer believe in the racist ideas that used to dominate the country. And even if they did, they didn't publicly express them because it was seen as socially unacceptable. Alexander pointed out that by the 1980s, real racial progress had been made. Surveys showed that 90% of whites thought black and white children should attend the same schools. 71% disagreed with the idea that whites have a right to keep blacks out of their neighborhoods. 80% of white people said they would support a black candidate for president, and 66% opposed laws prohibiting interracial marriage. I would argue that what we're seeing right now in 2025 is the breakdown of that post-civil rights consensus and a return to the casual and constant racism of the Jim Crow era. To confirm this theory, all you have to do is look at the comments section on this app. Every single day, I see some of the most disgusting and horrifying racism that I've ever seen in my life right here on TikTok. For example, I constantly see people posting racist pictures like this. The way that people feel so comfortable and confident being racist on this app is sickening and soul crushing. Even though racism has always been with us, especially on the internet, this is a new development. It wasn't like this even a few years ago. The casual racism online has gotten worse. And I believe it's because Trump and his government have made racism acceptable, and they even encourage it. Racists feel more comfortable spreading their hate online, and now it's starting to spill out into the real world too. Just look at the recent Democratic primary for mayor in New York. The people who were against Zohran Mandami made no effort at all to hide their racism, and this racism came from both the right and the left. People felt perfectly comfortable spreading racist lies about him and hating him simply because he was a non-white Muslim. Racists like Charlie Kirk attacked Mandami for using his hands to eat, calling it gross third worldism. Laura Loomer said that if Mandami becomes mayor of New York, there will be another 9/11. Others have called for Mandami to be denaturalized and deported because he's not a real American. None of these people feel ashamed or embarrassed to be so openly racist because open and brazen racism is the new normal. Or rather, it's a return to what America has always been since the beginning. We don't live in a post-racial era. We live in a post-colorblind era. And in this era, racists are proud of their racism, and they're comfortable spreading their hate and ugliness everywhere they go. So I ask you again, can you imagine a United States where racism does not exist? Because honestly, right now, I don't think I can.
Hi there, just yelling into the void. So, there's something I've been suffering from since about 2015. I like to call it white fatigue. Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with your petty prejudices. I'm exhausted with your casual racism. I'm exhausted with your complete lack of self-awareness. I'm exhausted with your misplaced superiority. I'm exhausted with you thinking you're not the problem. I am exhausted with your fear of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because it is a fear. It's not normal to be afraid of those things. It's something you've been taught. I am sick of your pearl clutching about trans and LGBTQ people and how you're going to explain that to your children. I am sick of your pious version of prosperity Christianity, where because you believe a certain way or read a certain book, that somehow you are deserving of all that is good in the universe, and that's why you have everything that's good in the universe, not because of systems that are put in place to benefit you. Yeah, I am sick of you telling me about the vacations that you go on where you either stay on a super controlled resort or a cruise ship and then tell me you went someplace. You didn't. You changed locations, but you didn't actually go on a vacation unless you interacted with local people and tried to learn something about the culture. I am sick of you assuming incorrectly that the way someone speaks, that their dialect or accent determines their intelligence, because I assure you it does not, especially in the case of Black Americans. I am sick of your upholding white supremacy. I am sick of 90% of everything that white people do. I am sick of people making excuses for their bad behavior. I am sick of it. Really freaking sick of it. And that is why My circle is super small, and I don't try to engage because what's the point? What's the point? These people are beyond help, and they give me fatigue, downright exhaustion. You're on my last nerve. That's my rant. Bye for now.
So, guys, welcome back. I really love the fact that some of the palm colored people right now, they are waking up and admitting some shocking truth and revelation to the rest of the world, and to a point that they are now defending and supporting the black people. When that palm colored man said that without action, nothing is going to happen, that they can be airing their voices, they can be talking each and every time to support the black people, but without action, there is nothing, totally nothing that is going to happen. That they should be supporting the black owned businesses. They should be supporting the black artists, the black art, everything. Because without doing that, how are you going to assure them that you are truly their great allies? Not all of them are bad. Some of the palm colored people are so good. They are seeing the suffering of the black folks, because I told you, black folks have been suffering in the United States for over 400 years now. They are still enduring some of the hardship. They are still facing racism up to date. And you know, majority of the palm colored people, they have benefited a lot from racism. Imagine hating someone, then you are the one who is benefiting of it. Such a weird system. When this other palm colored man said that they knew that when Obama becomes the president of the United States, maybe racism will decline, but it's still there. And actually, it made some of the palm colored people so angry to a point that they knew that Obama is going to oppress them the way they used to oppress the black folks in the United States. And it led to the rise of the hate groups, the 3Ks. And it's still happening up to date. When he said that whatever happened back in Germany in 1933, that is what is happening in the United States right now. The kind of voices and words they were using back then, they're the same things that is happening in the United States. Like the current administration, they just want to be seen as too good to be good, and yet people are suffering under them. People are crying under them. People are dying. Imagine that big, beautiful bill that was passed, and some are still celebrating that it's going to help Americans. When you see several people crying, just know that something is off. And yet you are still there celebrating with your government and even say that Taco is the best president ever. Like, honestly, from which place? Because people used to love America, but right now, people are boycotting traveling to the United States just because of that. And black folks are still enduring this hardship. They are still experiencing racism. They are still being segregated. You remember this man wanted to bring segregation back. And some of the palm colored people really begged black folks not to segregate themselves from them, because they knew very well how these people are, how they treat people. My people, they always treat people so good. They don't consider you as brown, as black, as white, as yellow. No, they treat people equally. This is what I know about my people. And they're really so hardworking, regardless. Because tell me right now, if they knew very well that, yes, we are suffering, so let's stop working, do you think they could have been surviving in the United States for all those years? The answer is no, because you must continue being optimistic and have high faith that something must happen. And if you just sit there at your room trying to have some weird imagination that something is going to happen, nothing is going to happen. The other palm colored woman, she said that she's so tired of her own people, that she's having white fatigue. Do you know how many people have that white fatigue. If she's the one who is feeling that way, what do you think the people who look like me are feeling in the United States right now? Imagine going to work, then someone is just talking behind your back negatively. You go to school, you get segregated just because of your skin color. Like, no one really wants you in that place. You go to church, no one wants to shake hands with you. So actually, these are the people that should be invited in the cookout because they're revealing the truth. And that historian teacher, he said that he wished that in America, there is no racism. It can be a better place. And I really don't know if there will be a time that this racism will end. And mark you, this thing is not only happening in America. This is even happening in some of the European countries. In the UK, people are feeling the same. The people who look like me are feeling the same. In fact, it's worse in some of the European countries. People are really feeling and are scared of it. And now in Africa, it's now colorism. Like, if you are black like me, then you have another person, because in Africa we consider people as black, brown, because there are some people who are so light, So for instance, I had this problem when I was at the university. Like, some men told me that, Judy, you're so dark, I can't date you. I was like, what? Then they said that we are going for the yellow thighs, those ladies with the yellow thighs. I said, well, in fact, I didn't feel so bad. Or perhaps they expect you to be bleaching your skin so that you can be lighter. No way. Because if you continue bleaching your skin, where will you get that melanin to pop? So ladies, you just need to be careful. Even if you get rejected, don't mind, because a time is coming that you'll be the happiest queen ever. Anyway, that was out of the topic. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support. Don't get me wrong, please. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section about this video. I will honestly appreciate it. Let's keep the conversation going and also learn from each other. I'm your presenter, Judy. Until next time, let's meet on my next episode. Stay safe.